Your regularly scheduled program for this special report.
Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down. Degenerate into something fool. We just got tired of doing what you told us to do. That's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up. Degeneration. Think you can tell me what to do? Know who you're talking to? Well, you better get used to the way the ball bounces. I see what you got, it measures in ounces. But that's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up. Degeneration. Think you're a big man? Treat you like you're a little man. Yeah. Break it down. Yo, tell me what it's like to be half a man. It must break your heart to see what I am, but that's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up! Degeneration! Think you can tell me what to do? Know who you're talking to?
Hey, Dan, and welcome to another version of a comic book spotlight. How was that?
Very, very cool intro.
Very,
I,
very, very cool.
I was going to say we should be worried about being demonetized, but
I don't care at this point because what are they going to do to me? I'm small potatoes.
yeah,
I know. I thought about it too. I was like, do I do this? Do I do this? Do I do that? So if
I,
WWE wants to sue me, go ahead, sue me.
I think DX would approve.
Oh, definitely. That it was a badass opening, and let's go to chat real fast, and then we'll bring in our special guest, Den Geek.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, here we have the one and only, the Mighty Mutron. All good, my friend. Looking forward to the stream. Stacy says, "Where do I put my feet up at?" Anywhere, Stacy. Anywhere.
As you can see, the shop and my behind me has plenty of space.
And it's a cool shop.
It's actually the comic book shop from Young Sheldon.
I love it. The Mighty Mutron says, "Keep my feet at the end of my legs, Stacy. I find it helps that while walking the process." Nerd Affiliates here, giving me a claps up.
Yeah,
We had him on Comic Book Spotlight. I had a very special guest, Nerd Affiliate. Hey Archer is who he is. It says Stacy says, "Hey Chris, hey Den Geek."
hey
Thank you.
Stacy.
I appreciate it. And Mighty Mutron said, "I had no complaints so far, Stacy." So they're having a good time in the chat. So let's bring in our special guest, Dan. But before we do that, how are you doing today?
I am doing great. I survived a week where technical issues were very prevalent during Thursday, where we were taken offline for 2.5 hours, and it was only me and another guy on the phone system.
Oh my God.
Yeah. Thanks, Google.
So, will you say we give our next guest a welcome, a awesome welcome to Comic Book Spotlight? This is our special time that you and me have. Today, we're going to do talking about pre-orders and new releases comic books, and I don't have a slideshow for that because it would have been too large to do. So we're gonna go to my favorite comic book store, Comic Craze, here in San Diego, and we're
Ooh.
gonna browse through his little um, website. Unfortunately, people can't order. They can order online, but you have to pick it up at that particular store. So he hasn't
Uh,
set up yet for people to order and then ship out.
oh.
But let's give it up for the one, the only Nigel. He had a great indie comic. Let's give him a little music before we bring him in. I think this
Mhm.
is appropriate, especially because you made it. Let's give him a little welcome here.
Ah, yes.
I mean,
The glow of a desk lamps light. Heroes are born in the dead of night. Inkers trace dreams with a step.
and there we go. Give him a little introduction. Here we go. We're going to bring in Nigel right now. How we doing, Nigel?
I'm doing well. I'm doing well. Thank you for having me on. Thank you for
Oh,
having me back, Chris.
I appreciate you, and let's get you guys all bigger. I'm the biggest, though.
Yeah. Well, it's your channel.
Well, yeah, but I'm trying to be fair to everybody. I give them so everybody can see everybody. So, Nigel, uh, you had that big, huge Kickstarter,
Yeah.
Neon Ghost, and we talked about it. I think it was maybe a month and a half ago.
I believe it was probably in February or maybe early March. Yeah.
Yeah. And how is your Kickstarter doing right now?
Okay. So we've actually gone to fulfillment. So the books are going out so shortly. We just had the proofs back in from the printer. The books look amazing. A lot of the merch also looks amazing. The stickers, the magnets, and that kind of stuff. And we sent out the digitals already. So all the backers, they could just kind of check their email. The digital is out. So everybody should get a digital copy of the book. Uh, but everything kind of went smoothly, no hiccups. But a lot of it was due to planning. So like the book was finished before the campaign. A lot of the edits was done before the campaign. So it meant that when we went in, once we were finished, we went straight into fulfillment.
Hmm? Hey, Dan, do you have any questions for Nigel?
Not really. I mean, I know Kickstarter. I've certainly backed plenty of Kickstarters, and I don't even want to consider how much crazy work goes into actually fulfilling everything. And everybody's like, "Oh, well, they just hand the orders off to the fulfillment center." I'm like, "No, no, no. There's a lot more work behind the scenes that goes in."
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Making sure everybody gets the right things, and
Ye-
that the quality is good.
Yes, that's very true. That's very true. A lot of the hard work is now to confirm that addresses are right and the you ship it to the right person, and it's a lot of back and forth, and people sometimes strange enough will change the address in that short period of time, or it may go to the wrong address and that kind of stuff. So usually there's a little bit of a hiccup in everything, but
Yeah,
it usually tends to go smoothly.
yeah. I can imagine a few people may move during that fulfillment process.
Yeah,
It's unfortunate that some people forget to kind of let the shipping people know this, but
yeah.
yeah.
What do you think was the hardest thing of your Kickstarter, Nigel?
Uh, to be honest, the hardest thing was keeping the momentum going. So it meant a lot of marketing. and that was posting every day, trying to go onto as many shows as possible, as many lives, as many podcasts, and to branch out from your own niche and try to get into other markets. So going on your show was very advantageous. Um, I went to I was exposed to a new audience that would have probably never heard of me before, and all it takes is just for a few fans, from one or two fans, to go a long way. So that was something that I kind of did this campaign, and it worked out for me. So a lot of the backers I got in this campaign were new backers that I have never seen on the list, because I went through the list and I was looking, and like there's a lot of new names, there's a lot of new people, and that's what you want. You want to kind of pick up new backers, keep some of the old backers, but you want to pick up new backers every campaign, because that's how the fan base will grow. If you find yourself marketing and selling to the same small niche, you can either get fatigue among the audience,
Mhm.
because they can't back everything, and you're not getting any growth. So this campaign I kind of put myself out there as much as possible, and that was very advantageous.
Mhm.
Um, my feeling is, how many podcasts did you go on to promote this comic book?
uh I think I did about, within the month, I did about five or maybe six, if I had to do at least two a week. uh so that way, there's always something new.
Hmm.
uh so I think I did about six or so between February and March. I did a
Yep.
few before the start, and then I did some once the campaign was running, which is usually good. You have to kind of hit it before to get people aware of your campaign. If you do
Mhm.
it too early, they will forget. So you have to kind of hit that sweet spot of maybe a week out in front, 2 weeks, and then if you can go back onto the same show again once the campaign
Mhm.
has launched, people will remember you and say, "Oh yeah, this guy that came on. I know you get to see the book and stuff." So I
Mhm.
think
Yeah.
I went about six, and
Oh,
it was if someone invited me onto a show, I didn't say no. I just kind of went on, no matter the time or whatever. I just try to make time
mhm.
to go on to the show.
Yeah,
Mhm.
and I do appreciate that because it's hard for writers and creators to have that valuable time. I know that your actual publishing company has been very instrumental in supporting us as well by bringing on Kickstarters that are in his publishing, circle. And I believe the publishing company is Wise. Was it Wiseacre?
Wiseacre? Yeah,
Yep.
Wiseacre.
And he reached me out today as well. He's got another guy that has a Kickstarter going. So we've had three times, I think, well, coming up, this new guy coming up, this will be like the third time I have a great writer and creator that's putting out an indie comic book Kickstarter that's
Mhm.
coming on my show. And
Yeah.
I do appreciate them giving us the opportunity to showcase you guys, because I feel like it's helping me branch out as well as helping the writer and creator of the comic book. And out of nowhere, I think he likes the way we produce everything
Mhm.
and run everything. I think me and Den, even when we're doing our Saturday shows, uh, they're well produced and well organized, and I think me and Dan work very, very hard together on
Mhm.
producing some ideas that like we talked. Wasn't last Saturday, but the Saturday before that, we did Secret Wars,
Hmm.
Yeah.
and
We're both
we
big fans of those classic storylines that influenced a lot of writers and a lot of readers.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
And I grew up reading a lot of, at the time, they were indie comics. I read like Preacher and that. I
Mhm.
wasn't sure what to expect with Preacher, and I'm like, oh, this is not at all what I expected in this book.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So when you said Secret Wars, are you talking about the first Secret Wars?
Yes.
Yes. Yeah,
Yeah,
there's two. Yeah.
yeah, yeah.
And I don't really like the Secret Wars 2 kind of
Mhm.
thing. I like the original because
Yeah,
that was a 12 miniseries of comic books spread
yeah,
out. And I
Yeah.
felt like the first Secret Wars was the best.
yeah.
Uh,
And it
for,
was groundbreaking at the time. I could actually remember as a kid reading
Mhm.
that live, like at the time too. What would happen would be we'd kind of get the Secret Wars issues out of order
Mhm.
Yeah.
because I was about, I believe it was about 7 or 8 when Secret Wars came out, and someone would have like a book. And what was fascinating at the time was this was a book that had in all the heroes, and it was like,
Yeah.
and you keep looking for your favorite hero. And it was like this guy going Spider Man, it's going Hulk, it's going this guy, and then the villains on the other side. So it was, it was very, it kind of brought you into new heroes, so you kind of saw new ones. People knew their favorites were in there, that kind of stuff. And
Yeah.
at the time too, it was kind of one of the first times it was comic was kind of tied to a toy line. So I remember the
Yeah.
toys started to show up in the stores too. Yeah,
Yeah. One of the first toys I got was the Secret Wars Iron Man.
yeah, yeah.
And it's still in my basement. It's very well played with, but I still have it and everything. And, you know, but just getting back to your Kickstarter for a moment, I imagine before you even start the campaign, you've got a pretty good idea about what the stretch goals are going to be.
Yes. So I would say kind of yes and no. It's a
Yeah.
case of kind of learning from your mistakes. So
Hmm.
with my first campaign, or I know for a lot of people, they think like more stretch goals are better,
Hmm.
and sometimes it's not always the case. You kind of have to kind of gauge your fan base and do they want more stuff. When you're new and this is your first book, try to focus on the book itself and
Hmm.
try to do stretch goals that don't go too far and beyond in terms of because breaking you,
Yep.
because you have to, you have to be able to produce this stuff.
Of course.
So yeah, so one of the things that a lot of people try to do is, well, if I set the goal, I need to have a stretch goal to get the people to go forward, and it's not necessarily always the case. If you have a good product and a good book, the fans should be drawn to the book. The stretch goals should come in just as almost like a thank you when you really hit a milestone or you really hit a point that you're really striving to get. So for me, I kind of set a lot of my stretch goals to numbers of backers because I want as many backers as possible. So
Mm-hmm.
it kind of incentivizes people to kind of join the Kickstarter or tell their friends, because if we get to 100 people, this may unlock and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
And this year, I kind of kept it simple. I kept it to things that were possible. So I kind of put like a cover behind the stretch goal wall. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
did did some stickers and that kind of stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Sometimes if you go too out of the box, you kind of find yourself bogged down with now trying to fulfill all of these other things that you kind of promised.
That
So
really don't
it's
relate to what your
yeah,
campaign is. Yeah.
yeah, and then they take away from the campaign. So I was trying to advise people and say, well, look, let the stretch goals be something that's not going to break you. Something that either, like, let's say add in 5 more pages to the book, but it's like behind the scenes stuff.
Mm-hmm.
That's not going to break you because you have that already. Um, do you know what I mean? Because when you were
Yeah.
doing the book, you may have sketches and you have that kind of stuff already.
And
Stickers,
drafts of scripts and
scripts,
everything.
and yeah, try to use as much of that stuff because true fans will want that stuff if a person is really interested. I kind of try to gauge it on what I like from a campaign or what I'm
Mm-hmm.
interested in a campaign. And then there's other things sometimes in a campaign, I will see there's a tier, and I'm not really interested in that. So I try to stagger the campaign tiers also to kind of grab the audience to
Mm.
that. They kind of say like, if I don't go to tier up, I'm losing money. So you kind of
Yeah.
have to kind of play that game, you know.
Mm. Yeah.
Okay. Well, we're going to go back to the chat for just a little bit,
Okay.
just to break it up a little bit. We got Josh Peppers. Hello. Let me
One
highlight it.
half of Cut Pepper Productions.
Hello. Hope everyone is having a swell day. And we are Peppers. We are having a swell day. And then you got Robert from Infinite Realms. What up, party peoples?
Yeah.
And then he said one more thing.
Yeah.
Funny, I'm sorting some boxes and just found a very beat up Secret Wars
Cap.
cap.
Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, cool, 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 cool.
Very cool.
Yeah, I thought we would go back to your Kickstarter, just show everybody a little bit of it. If that's okay with you,
Yeah,
Nigel?
yeah, that's great.
So I'm going to share that with everybody. I'm going to share my awesome screen right here. Let me know when you guys see it.
I
Yeah, I
see
can
it.
see it.
All
Yeah.
right. And we're going to be on the bottom here. You can see us, everybody. We're on the thing. Or better yet, how about this? That's even better.
Yep.
How's that? How's that for production, Nigel?
Yeah, that's great.
So we have your Kickstarter campaign, Neon Ghost. Let me customize this. Let me make this a little bigger. All right. And basically, this shows the Neon Ghost, a gritty cyberpunk comic adventure, which you call it eloquently. I think that's a really good idea.
Hmm.
And let's show what we got here a little bit. There is the $15 digital ghost
Hmm.
pledge for $15, which you get the full Neon Ghost experience with the complete 74-page digital edition, free wingless digital bundle. I think Nigel will go into a little bit more. Nigel, could you tell us about the bundle?
Yeah, so that's another thing that if you can partner with other creators in order
Mm-hmm.
to add some value to your campaign, that's something that I
Yes.
would recommend. So what I kind of reached out to the guys at Wingless and I said I have a campaign with friends. I said, can you kind of give me 2 books for the digital bundle? So he gave me 2 of his books, and in turn, when his Kickstarter comes around, I'll give him 2 books for his campaign. And this adds more value because now if you're going to back, you're going to get 2 free books, even if you don't, so it kind of sweetens the deal, and it exposes uh, the audience to other creators, so it's
Yeah.
almost like a bit of marketing too. So that's something I would recommend, and that's what I did this turn, and I think it kind of helped. As I said, it kind of helped add more value to the campaign.
Yeah, I would agree. Definitely. What do you think, Dan?
Yeah. You know, and especially I guess if it's a similar genre, but
Mm,
like for fans like me, I'm one of these people that I absolutely love reading anything and everything.
mm,
I like seeing what stories creators want to tell. I've read everything from Old West to mythology to sci-fi, and it's always great fun to see um, creators getting their own voice because I've seen a lot of them that have gone the corporate route, and then it's like, well, this is not the story I wanted to tell.
yeah, yeah. I think that's one of the advantages we as indies kind of have, and we have to kind of use it where we don't have that restraint of,
Yeah.
well, you need to toe this line. I don't think you should do this, or what I think will sell better, or what I think would be good in this market. You kind of tell the story you want to tell, if you like it or not, kind of thing. It's up to you. So you have that freedom, and that's the advantage of self-publishing, self-funding. So Kickstarter kind of helps with that.
Yeah. One good thing, of course, is you don't have to worry about that comics code anymore.
Hmm. Yeah, yeah,
Because I remember that back in the 80s and 90s, they were pretty strict on what they would let and wouldn't let into a comic book.
yeah.
Because in their mind, it was designed for like kids to like early to mid teens.
Hmm.
They thought that was the only audience. But we've since learned that at least my friends group, everybody even into their 60s is reading comic books, graphic novels that they find interesting.
Yeah, yeah. And funny enough, I would probably say that the younger audience doesn't read as many comic books as we did when we were young. So
Yeah,
so it's almost like a little bit of a nostalgia kick. So the audience has kind of grown with the product. So so also the taste of the audience has kind of grown too. So there's a lot more
yeah,
freedom in terms of what you can produce and stories you can tell now
yeah,
versus back then.
Yeah.
yeah.
I was,
Um,
I was
well,
Go ahead, Dan. Sorry.
sorry, I was gonna say, the problem um, is I know a lot of people today that, and Cutthroat and I have Chris and I have had this discussion many times. Is everybody's going digital, and it's like
Mm,
I want to hold something in my hands. I don't mind digital copies, but
right.
at the end of the day, I want to be able to go over to my bookshelf and say, okay, I want to read that book. And I just pull it off the shelf. I don't have to re download it or anything. I just pull it out, start flipping through it, and actually having the physical object in
Yeah,
front of me to enjoy.
yeah. I agree. I agree. It's
And
almost
and
like
I
yeah,
I think it's a lost thing with this generation because they're so used to having everything on the screens, kind of owning nothing.
Mhm.
that's true. That's true.
So yeah,
Yeah. I want to go back to the chat real fast so we don't
yeah,
ignore our chat people. Josh Peppers said he. Oh, JP, he wants to be called JP for short, so we'll call him JP. Voted yes to pay more for an independent comic because I know it's more difficult to fund on your own and get it up, out, and off the ground, not some big conglomerate corporation. I think that's what he had in mind.
yeah,
Um, we got Matt Tracker who just strolled in. Uh, that's sort of like 80s cartoons. They were prolonged toy commercials, but the writers still pack stories into them. Yes,
yeah.
yes, yes, yes. He said,
I mean, prime example of that would be GI Joe.
oh,
Look
yeah.
at what Larry Hama did with that line.
Oh, yeah. And I'm still trying to get Larry Hama to come on our show, Dan. I've been begging his agent to come on our show. And he's been giving us the runaround. Not Larry Hama himself, the
No,
agent.
no. Well, not only that, but Larry Hama's a very busy guy too, as I'm
I
sure
know.
Nigel
I
is
know.
as well, because I'm sure he's getting ready to fulfill all these orders. And I
Yeah.
definitely have to check out Neon Ghost because I do love a good cyberpunk story.
Yeah. And I want to point out that, Nigel, when you started this Kickstarter, your goal was 15,000, correct?
1,500.
1,500, sorry.
Yeah, yeah, yeah.
But we got 4,683 back, so let's give him a round of
Perfect.
Yeah,
applause right there. I
Perfect.
mean, come on. That is blowing your goal out of the water.
Yeah, yeah.
yeah.
Yeah. And
Uh,
And just goes to show that, once you find that audience and get the word out there, they're more than willing to support
yeah,
new creators and new voices in the industry.
yeah.
yeah. And I think it's a lot. I have to kind of thank my team because they did a great job on the book. So when you look at it, it's
Mhm.
aesthetically pleasing. It's a beautiful book. The covers all are amazing. So these are the things that also kind of help with a comic book. I always tell people uh, a comic book is a mix of everything. It's not only just the story, it's the art,
No.
it's the colors, it's everything. Because if you
Mhm.
just wanted to read a good story, you could read a novel. You know what I mean? If you just
Yeah.
wanted to see if you just wanted to see pretty art, you could watch TV or you could watch a cartoon. So it's a
Yeah.
special medium that kind of it hits a
Yeah.
certain way, you know. So
Yeah.
my team, I have to thank the team a lot for what they've done, what they did. They did an
Yeah.
amazing job.
Like I really love that image of that you've got on the main page there. With the character with all the other characters kind of in there. It looks beautiful. It's the right colors, looks amazing with those colors. Very kind of synth,
Yeah,
1980s, early 90s synthetic look.
yeah, yeah.
And I love that. And it's like you said, it's really working with the artist and the writers and getting the layouts right. You know, and one thing I've learned is even the lettering and
Mhm.
like inkers make a huge difference in a comic book.
Yeah, yeah. That's something that we kind of take for granted, and that's kind of what kind of separates a lot of the professional looking indie books from,
Mhm.
let's say, still not quite there yet, is the
Hmm.
lettering.
Yeah,
Because you can kind of tell bad lettering, or you can kind of, you know, good. I always say good lettering you don't notice because
Mhm.
yeah,
it's almost invisible, and that's how
yeah,
it's supposed to be. But
yeah.
as
It
you
blends
can
in
know,
perfectly.
yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
As you notice it, it means something is kind of wrong with it.
Yeah.
yeah.
And I'm just going to briefly go down so people can just get an idea of the great artwork, like right here. Look at that.
Yeah,
That's incredible.
yeah.
And let me get back to the chat. Let's see. Here we go. JP says, congratulations on the goal.
Yeah, thank you.
And of course, evening, Mo. We got to say hello to Jeff Morris. Hello, all. Hello, Jeff
Hmm.
Morris. How you doing? Appreciate you being here.
If Jeff Gignac shows up, then the whole council of Jeffs will be here.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Yeah,
yeah.
the
Yeah.
triumvirate.
Yeah, yeah, and it's so great that we got so many supporters that are in our group, in our community, and
Oh yeah.
it's great that we support one another, and I really like that about our community.
Hmm.
Uh,
We've got some really
but
great people that just love to share their passion with about whatever they're into.
exactly, exactly, and so we'll go down a little bit more, show some great imagery work here.
Yeah.
I just love it. It's gritty, dark, vibrant. Uh,
Yeah.
what can you say, Dan? What
Well,
adjectives would you use?
well, one thing I've noticed, and like I said, I've read a lot of cyberpunk over the years. Like I
Yeah.
read Neuromancer when I was far too young to read Neuromancer. Um, but a lot of artists in the graphic novel field, they have a problem distinguishing between darkness and like a neon light source. They'll like overwash a panel with neon light, and I really like this because you've got the lighting perfect in that, where it's reflecting off the car, but it's not like blinding everybody.
Mhm.
Um,
Exactly.
I found one comic where it was like it felt like they were right under the neon light when it was across the street. I'm like, how bright is that light supposed to be? So
Yeah,
again, works with inking, coloring, and working with the art team to get that looking just right.
yeah,
Yeah. And we'll go back to the chat real fast because another person has come on in.
Yeah.
Welcome, Same Time Toys. What's good, everybody? We're doing great. Thank you for showing up. We appreciate it. Neutron's just saying the same thing to Same Time Toys. My moderator, the Mighty Mutron, is in the chat as well. Just keeping an eye on everybody, but we all know we're adults here that we all behave, so
Yeah.
not a problem. We don't
Well,
have that.
most of us try to behave. I'm not going to say we all
Ah!
behave.
So I don't know, Nigel, if you want to stay and with us. We're going to be going over pre-orders and new releases and comic books this week. Did you want to stay?
Sure, I don't mind sticking around.
Okay.
Yeah, if you
And
got the time.
also, yeah, if you got the time, also it gives you an opportunity for our audience to know you a little bit better who didn't catch the first time you came here on Comic Book Spotlight. So you just let me know. If
No,
you have to go, you just let me know, and I understand. But I want to thank you for being
no, I
here.
really appreciate you guys having me on. This kind of exposure means a lot to me, and I could stick around for a few minutes and see what's up about, and there's no problem.
Oh, let's see. We will get into. It says replace. Okay, we're gonna stop sharing. This is the only way I know how to do it, guys. So excuse me. Here we go. Share it. Let me know when you see it.
Yeah.
You see it?
Yeah, we see it. So I'm gonna go into Absolute Batman #4. This is the third printing that this comic book for DC. What do you think, Dan? You like Batman Absolute?
I've only read the first two issues of it. I enjoy it. It's Batman. Go in expecting Batman. You're not going to be disappointed.
Yeah.
And the fact that it's already on its third printing says a lot about the popularity of a book, because I know comics that barely sell out their first printing or don't even do that.
Yeah. And Nigel, are you a big Batman fan? Or
Well, yeah, I am like most people from my time. I am a Batman fan. What I would say about the Absolute series, it was a refreshing take on Batman. So I find with comic books being sometimes a bit, stagnant, it was kind of good to kind of see a new story, a new retelling kind of thing, something kind of fresh. So I've been following it along, and I'm actually liking a lot of what I'm seeing. And as a creator, I like to study comics to kind of see what makes it kind of stick out. So I've been learning a lot from the actual series so far.
yeah. And
I think that's what kind of drew me to like the Elseworld series. Like you had Gotham by Gaslight. So you had Batman in Victorian Gotham. And I really loved that because it was a new take, and a new telling of a hero is never a bad thing. If you at least give it a chance. Yeah. Yeah. And yes, Bane.
mm-hmm.
And if you
You
grew
like
up
that?
in the 90s, we all know who Bane is.
Yeah.
Oh, definitely. Definitely. I like Bane.
Yeah.
I don't know if everybody can see that pretty good. Okay.
Yeah.
Because I'm always seeing a delay. So when
Yeah, of course.
I think this Absolute Batman is a fresh new take on Batman, and with same characters, villains, and everything. but a new spin on it. And I love when writers can takes a classic character like Batman and a classic villain like Bane and retell it and spin it differently.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
what do you think, Dan?
Well, one thing I like, especially lately, I've noticed is they're the writers aren't just focusing on Batman, they're getting like Alfred more involved instead of just being, the servant of Batman. He feels
Mhm.
more like a confidant and someone who actually cares about Batman and can hold his own in a fight if he needs to.
Yeah,
And you see that with a lot of the Bat characters now, which I absolutely love because a lot of these characters they never really got the attention I thought they deserved.
yeah,
They always felt like, oh, it's Batman and this person,
yeah.
and this way, even some of them are getting their own spin-off books, which I think is great because if we can explore these characters in more depth, it's always
Mhm.
fun.
Yeah,
Mhm.
I agree. I agree. I'm just going to go back to where our absolute Batman number 4 third printing was, so
Yeah,
everybody can get a kind of good look on it.
yeah,
And then I will say hello to the one and only Figure Fight Club. What's up,
nice.
guys? You got to watch this channel. And Nigel, if you get a chance, this guy's great. Figure Fight
Okay.
Club. Um, he's he shows a lot of his figures. They have open mic night, which I think would be good for you to go on. It's every Monday, I believe. Every Monday or Tuesday, I believe, is open mic night.
Mhm.
Sometimes he changed it. It used to be Mondays. Maybe I think it's Tuesdays now. But it gives people an opportunity to come on his show and share stuff. So you might want to
Okay.
check him out. Uh,
I'll probably take him up on that.
yeah, hit him up on Instagram, Figure Fight Club.
Okay.
Um, let's see. Also, Matt says Nightfall. John Paul Valley's batsuit drew so much attention because of how different it was. Now it's kind of overplayed. How many characters have a mechanized batsuit now?
I
Oh, that's
think all
true.
of them.
That's true.
But
That's
I
true, Matt.
mean, when Nightfall happened, it was literally taking Batman and saying, "Hey, we're bringing him into the '90s now." You had a
Hmm.
bat suit with like razor claws on it, and actually, I do have one. Just give me
You
one
do.
sec. It's right
Oh
up
yeah, yeah, yeah.
here.
Let me get you blowing up here in 1 second.
Okay.
Here,
All
how's
right.
that?
Yeah, this is the McFarlane Azrael Batman armor that I
Hmm.
picked up a few years back before I got priced out of buying action figures.
Yeah, yeah. I think Chad got one, but it was in a different color.
Yeah, yeah.
So
But
that's really really cool.
I've also got the regular Azrael. I'll pull that one down while I'm here if I
Okay, let me
can.
hit you again.
All right. And then of
Ooh,
course
yeah,
there's the classic Azrael.
that's the one I remember.
Yeah,
Yep.
that's the one I
This
know.
Yeah, that's the Azrael itself. I just loved the character because it was really fun. It was a new take on a character.
Hmm. And just to verify, Figure Fight Club says Tuesdays. Thanks for the plug, and everyone is welcome. Yeah, he's such a nice guy. I mean, you see all these YouTube channels, and it's like this is like a free invite
Yeah.
to promote whatever thing. I've never seen a channel do that before.
Hmm.
Mhm.
It's either they have a special guest, they have agenda in
Yeah.
mind. I think Figure Fight Club is just they're going by the seat of their pants and trying something new.
And
So
if it works, it works.
yep. And Matt says that Azrael costume is what he started to
Yeah.
use after Bruce reclaimed being Batman.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. That was great. Um, let's see. Let's go back. Okay. We got that one out of the way. Now we're going to go back to sharing. Oh my God. It's like I got 50 million things to look at.
I
Now I know
noticed
why
you.
other shows are going nuts. And let me get back you out of there, back to normal. Here we go.
Right.
Now I know why shows are going crazy with, let me show you this, let me show you that. Um,
Yeah.
Here's another good one. Action Comics,
Yeah.
Superman, number 1087. This is
Yeah.
cover A, which
Yeah.
I guess they're going to have multiple variant covers for it.
Yeah. I
Uh,
was going through a pre-order list, and they had some cover packs, and
mhm.
boy, that were they expensive.
Oh my
Like,
God.
I was looking at some of them, and they were like $250 for a
Hmm.
cover pack, and I'm like, okay, it's got two sets of covers, and like it's got two issues worth of covers, but like, are they signed?
Yeah. I'm just going to go briefly over this so people do not know what it's about.
Yeah.
Let's see. 1 second. Superboy returns with creators Mark Wade and Skylar Patridge. Patridge? Witness
Yeah,
Mark.
Patriot.
Yeah. Witness Mark Wade's triumph return to the title alongside rising star artist Skylar Patridge as they take Clark Kent back to his early years on Kent's farm. This can't miss story with ties to the present takes the boy of steel to the unexpected heights as he figures out what is being a hero truly means. First stop Metropolis, Expo of Tomorrow. Will Clark be able to blend into the crowd, or is Superboy made to make his public debut? So this is his early years, his, I guess we call his teenage years.
Yeah, I would guess this
Ben,
would be kind of like their version of Smallville. Although whenever I hear Superboy, I automatically think back to the death and life of Superman, with Connor and the little round hippie glasses and the leather
Mhm.
jacket, which just shows how old I am.
Yeah.
No, Nigel, what do you think about
Mhm.
Superman?
Uh, I'm kind of on the fence with Superman. If he has an interesting story, I kind of tune in sometimes. And but with the upcoming movie, I'm kind of more perceptive and trying to get back into it a bit. So
Mhm.
I've been following this Trueverse channels and stuff. So I only just heard about this week.
Yeah.
So yeah,
Yeah, I
but
I,
Also,
re-
go
I
ahead.
remember I was watching, what was it? Uh, it was called Superhero Inc. It's a behind the scenes mini series of
mm,
like eight episodes, and one of the writers for Superman said, he's such a difficult character to write for because he's
Mhm.
basically a god. And even points out in one panel in a very early issue, he goes up and he blows out a star with his
Yeah.
breath. He's like, how do
mm,
you write for a character that can literally extinguish a star?
Mhm.
yeah, he's a bit tricky,
Yeah.
especially coming off of the back in the day when Superman had some really ridiculous powers.
Oh yeah.
They were just like plot armor powers kind of thing,
Yeah.
and he can be a bit difficult. I could see the difficulty because also, unlike other characters who are godlike, he doesn't really have some of the same human flaws that
Yeah.
the other. He doesn't have jealousy, he doesn't have anger, he doesn't have a lot of that stuff. So he's a very pure character. So is a it's a very interesting character to kind of write for.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like to
Yeah.
think of him as like the idealized human, where he represents the very best of what we should strive to be.
Yeah,
Yeah. I'm just going to maximize this so people can see it a little bit better. But there is Superman the movie, uh,
Yeah.
yeah,
the new one, with, of course, the new director, which
Yeah.
there are some people that like him and there's some people that don't like him.
I'm gonna do what I do with every comic book movie, and that is I'm gonna give it a chance.
Okay.
I'm gonna go in and I'm just gonna go, okay, I'm just here for a good movie for a good time.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna pick it apart like some people do.
Yeah. I
yeah,
think people were a little disappointed because the Superman we had before, great actor, um,
mhm,
and you know his time was up basically,
Yeah.
and they didn't want to renew him to be Superman, and
Yeah.
that's okay.
Yeah.
Um,
Well,
I
he's
think
got
this,
4 other projects going on as well.
yeah, he's a very busy actor,
Yeah.
and everybody knows who we're talking about.
Yeah.
Right now, I'm having a brain fart of the
Henry
actor's
Cavill.
name, Henry Cavill. There you go. I should
Uh,
remember his name because I just watched him in the first part of what was it? God, I'm having a brain fart. Oh my god!
The
But
Witcher.
he was not Witcher when he did Mission Impossible.
oh,
Oh
First
yeah.
part.
yeah, Fallout, Mission Impossible Fallout,
Yes.
Yes. Yeah.
Or was it Reckoning? Was it Reckoning?
No.
Fallout,
Fallout.
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 Yeah.
Fallout. Okay.
I
Was
will say that the bowl cut on Nathan Fillion kind of triggered my 1980s PTSD. My
oh
entire
yeah,
class at one point had that haircut.
yeah, yeah. And it's kind of weird. They always do that little curly thing with Superman's hair, and
Yeah,
they gave him that little
the curly Q.
yeah, the curly Q.
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell you, I think the best Superman of all time is Christopher Reeves, and
Absolutely.
hands down, I don't care what anybody says. He is the best. He will always be my best. And I know it's kind of
Yeah.
being hard nosed about it, but I just feel like he is a better Superman. Yeah.
Yeah. But unfortunately, getting him is not possible. But no, I saw the original Superman when I was 4 years old, and I
Hmm.
truly believed he could fly.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
know,
Hey, Dan,
and
we're gonna.
my
Oh, go.
and in my mind, John Williams one of the best scores for a
yeah.
comic book movie ever.
Yeah, I was
Yeah.
about to say that. I think what holds a lot of nostalgia for people of our generation with the Superman, it's not only the character and the story. It was a breakthrough film at the time. We never saw
Mhm.
anything like it, and it was a package. So when you heard that music swell, you
Mhm.
kind of got excited when it started to come on, or when you heard it in the beginning of the movie and that kind of stuff. It was iconic. So, it's a lot of that. Even to this day, they still use, when they drop it in the trailer after this, it still
Yeah.
has that feeling. So, a lot of the older stuff, even Spider-Man's theme song and stuff that they bring forward, it still has that kick.
Yeah.
So that's a part of it that kind of lives true and adds that nostalgia to it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to the chat here, and the first one, JP says, "Any of you ever watched the film Brightburn?"
Yep.
No,
Yep.
I
I
did.
have not. I
Yep.
I
haven't.
did.
Uh,
It wasn't
uh,
bad. I didn't find it horrible.
Hmm.
They were clearly world building,
Yeah.
and I'm never going to turn down a movie and say that they did this wrong and that, because their world building. It wasn't bad. I would have liked more in depth in the world, but that's just me.
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I enjoyed it for what it was. Very similarly, when I kind of watch a movie, I kind of watch a movie to kind of enjoy it,
Yeah,
and a movie has to be really bad or throw me
yeah,
off for me to kind. And then usually it's just a case that I wouldn't come back for the sequel, or
yeah,
I just stop watching it. Um, but I would say that I was entertained with it. It
yeah.
was very dark. It was very dark, and it
It
was
was.
yeah, and it was almost but interestingly enough, uh, with the boys kind of series on Amazon, that kind of stuff, that
Yeah,
was a little bit the precursor to that kind of thing. So
yeah,
now, will it kind of have that same hit? Would it have that same feel? Maybe not, because we're kind of used to it. We just saw
yeah.
series with boys and that kind of stuff, and that stuff is leaps and bounds above what we saw in
Oh yeah,
Brightburn.
oh yeah. And like the boys, um, was because of the comics are very much not for children.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah.
I've got the complete run for the
Hmm.
boys, and I love it. And I remember my goddaughter, she was probably 12, 13 at the time. She's like, "What's this one about?" And she points to it on my shelf. And I thought she's looking at the Runaways collected like trade paperback I've got. She's like, "What's this one? The Boys?" And she's like starting to get interested in boys at this point, and she's like, "Can I read this?" "Absolutely not."
Wow.
She's like, "Why not?" I'm like, "Because it's," and I kind of had to explain to her that it's a very grown up comic.
Yeah,
And I'm like, "Look, in a couple years, we'll ask your mother if it's okay. Because
yeah,
right now, if I ask her, she's going to kill me
Yes, yes, yes.
yeah,
because she had also read The Boys."
yeah, yeah.
Yep.
And a lot of it, you could kind of feel the disdain for superheroes and the superhero genre when you read it. It's
Yeah,
not. It's not. It's right there. So
it
that's kind
is.
of what's very interesting. Yeah, that's kind of interesting about it
Okay.
Um,
too.
it was interesting because they were talking about the writer, the artist at the in one of the books I've got, and he's like, he claims that he has like Garth Ennis does not like superheroes, yet he's made a
Mm,
career off of superhero type books.
yeah, it's a
With
paycheck.
yeah, it's a paycheck, and apparently he was working at DC at the time when he came up with this, and
Mm,
originally he wanted it to be part of the DC like Vertigo, their adult stuff. And he's like, and then I realized what I was going to be portraying Superman and Batman as, and then like Spider-Man and all of them. He's like, I would have been fired on the spot
Mhm.
if I pitched like, Superman's going to be this raging egomaniac.
Yeah. So Matt Tracker says that was one of the reasons they did Crisis on Infinity Earths. They massively depowered Superman after that event because all of the writers just kept adding new powers and weakness. So
Yeah, yeah. I mean, you want to respect the previous work, um, but at the same time, it's like, okay, there's just too many powers and too many weaknesses at this point,
mm,
and you kind of have to go, okay, maybe it's time we kind of reset this a little bit.
yeah.
JP says, yes, I like Henry, but it's time he takes his place as 007.
Mm, it
We
would
could
be
only
nice.
hope. We could hope.
We can hope.
I'm really hoping that they do a female version of 007. I think it's time for females to take their high place in movies, and I think it's
Yeah.
we had how many years of male James Bond movies?
Over
Mm,
20, I think.
Yeah,
oh, way over, because it's always been like in the last James Bond movie, there was a female 007, although she didn't get much screen time. Um,
Correct.
um, but a few years back, there was talk about Idris Elba taking on the mantle of James Bond, which,
Yeah.
again, I would love that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
Um, Matt Trekker says that'd be a weird crossover. Cavill has already been in Mission Impossible. Having him show as 007 is crossing the streams a bit much. Yay. Yeah.
mm,
Yeah, I agree. I agree. He's already been in Mission Impossible.
yeah,
So,
but he was also in The Man from Uncle.
yeah, that's true.
He's getting typecast as the spy.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's kind of how Roger Moore got to be Bond. He was in a series called The Saint, which
Hmm.
was very James Bond esque. Pierce Brosnan also, he was in what series was
Remington
that?
Steele.
Remington
Remington.
Steele. Yeah.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's not that far fetched for people to cross into another genre,
Yeah.
No.
I think he
another franchise, and be similar character.
I think Matt was doing like a little tongue in cheek kind of haha,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
Um, JP says, unfortunately, Matt, we won't get to see Henry Cavill to be 007. We don't. I don't even know what's going to happen with the James Bond franchise. I haven't even seen a trailer. I haven't even heard a rumor. I haven't even heard them filming at this
Well,
point.
not since Amazon purchased MGM.
Yeah,
Yeah.
so that's the issue. There's a new video game coming, so
Yeah,
that's something.
that looks
Uh,
interesting.
JP says a female 007 film will go the way of Ghostbusters. Well, I kind of disagree with you, JP, and I'll tell you why. The way they did the female Ghostbusters, it wasn't well written, and they were just trying to do a spin off of the
Hmm.
original Ghostbusters, but a female version of it. And it went horribly wrong. What they should have done was take it away from the original Ghostbusters and give them a new version, which would have been a female version of Ghostbusters, but done in a different way. Don't don't copy the original.
No,
Yeah.
that's kind of like what they did with Afterlife and Frozen Empire.
Hmm.
And I'm gonna say this. Uh, for me, movies like that, I think if you get the right writer and the right director attached to it, you
Mhm.
can make incredibly popular things out of anything.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah, and I also heard that when they do the last Fast and the Furious in the movie theaters, that they're going to do a female version of Fast and the Furious. They're going to do a spin-off. Supposedly, I don't know if it's still in the works.
Well, that
Supposedly,
that wouldn't really surprise me because Universal's got to find a new cash cow somewhere.
I know because what they got one more movie to do, and that's it.
I still haven't seen the last Fast and the Furious movie.
Oh, you're not missing much. You're not missing much. It was okay with John Cena in it. It
Mm.
made some sense.
It,
I
it
just
just
feel
it feels like that old joke, like they used to have with Star Trek back in the 80s. Star
Mhm.
Trek 29, The Quest for More Money.
Exactly, exactly. Um, this is the end of the last question that I have starred. Matt Tracker, Ruben, um, Remington Steele,
Yeah,
yay. Okay.
yeah, yeah. That was the one you were.
And this is what we were saying. I haven't seen any after Tokyo Drift, so
Not missing a ton.
no, no. Josh
It,
Pepper
it
says,
Cargo Fast and Boom. Yeah, I mean it literally evolved from like an undercover Gone in 60 Seconds type cop movie to we're saving the planet now.
Yeah,
yes.
I've never seen a series evolve like
Hmm.
that. That is, and it's just kind of crazy. It's
It
it's
is.
almost it's that's crazy. It went from a series that was grounded in reality to
Mhm.
cars in space. So
Yeah. And it's like, okay, I know where we started. How did we get to where we are?
yeah, you can't tell.
Mhm.
I can't tell where it jumped the shark. Can't.
Yeah. There's
And
really
don't,
no specific point. It just kind of built to that. And it's like, oh, you jumped many small sharks.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. I'm only going to go through a few more new releases, then we'll go to pre-orders because it gets pretty long. I mean, there's a long list of
Oh,
comic
yes.
books. I thought we just highlight some. I was thinking that we highlight this one,
Ah, yes. G.I. Joe.
G.I. Joe, and I'll share that with everybody.
Hmm. Ah, the hardcover books. Yes.
Yeah, yeah. Can everybody see it? Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Let me just make it a little bigger. There we go.
Yeah.
But codename G.I. Joe, a deluxe edition hard book cover, direct market exclusive by Andrea Milian and Annalisa L. Uh,
Yeah.
what does this comic book about? It says a Vance sought road to the G.I. Joe beginnings here. Experience the epic origin of G.I. Joe and Cobra like you've never seen before. Welcome to Energon Universe. Conrad Duke Hauser made his first contact with a Transformer and lived to tell the tale. Now, one of the U.S. Army's most dedicated soldier is on the hunt for answers. Drawn in a conflict that no amount of training could prepare him for. Meanwhile, one man's sinister plans utilizes a mysterious alien substance known as Energon,
Mhm.
which sends shockwave across the globe. Who is Cobra Commander? Where does he come from? And what are the horrors he's planning to unleash that will rock the world and maybe the universe to its core? Red Hot writer Joshua Williamson, G.I. Joe, he did G.I. Joe and Superman, teams up with the artist Tom
Riley.
Riley and Andrea Milan to introduce two of the most powerful factions Earth has to offer in codename G.I. Joe Deluxe Edition Book 1, which would be a combination of all the comic books that came out prior to
Yeah.
this one.
Yeah. The hardcover version, it'd be basically an omnibus edition of the Energon universe,
Right.
which had some really good stories in it.
Yeah. Yeah. What do you think, Nigel? What do you think about this one?
Actually, I was actually very impressed with the whole Energon universe. I was actually surprised because I used to read both Transformers and J. Joe when I was a kid, back when they were under the Marvel banner,
Hmm.
and collected the toys and stuff. So since Skybound has taken over, I've kind of dipped my toe in and read a few issues, and something like this collection would be something I probably get because
Yeah.
I'm really enjoying a lot of the stuff, the way how they modernize the story, characters kind of can live, can die, that kind of stuff. Just kind of
Yeah.
refreshing to kind of see that. The last one I read was the one with Beachhead.
Ah,
So that was yeah, that was I really enjoyed that one. So
yeah.
Yeah.
so to
Um,
get everything, would this have in Void Rivals too? Or this is not Void Rivals, it's not this.
No, I don't think so.
no.
Hmm.
But one thing I liked about the Energon universe is when Duke comes back and starts talking about shape shifting robots, the army basically treats him like he's nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it's like, look, you've been out on too many deployments. We're gonna find you a nice, comfortable desk job until you
Mhm.
kind of get your head back together. And then eventually he gets contacted by GI Joe and said, look, not everything is as it appears.
Mhm.
And I really like that. I would love it if they did a movie, something like that, which that'll never happen.
Hmm.
Yeah. I'm gonna go back to the poll, and I put in the poll earlier. I don't know if Matt got a chance to vote, but I'm gonna be ending the poll in about 3 minutes. The poll says, "Would you pay more for an indie comic book? Yes or no?" It's just simple, yes or no. And when I ended it in 3 minutes, we'll give you the the poll total of what it was.
Yeah.
Let's see what Matt says in the thing. Chat Void Rivals is part of the Energon universe. Thank you, Matt. He's all knowing. Uh, when sometimes we are not too sure,
Yeah.
it's good to go to another person.
Who
So
has access to Google?
yes, yes, Google. He's I love it when Matt chimes in and goes, "No, you're incorrect. Here, let me get you." I
Yeah.
love it. I love it, Matt. Uh, um, let's see. Now I think we should do pre-orders, right, Dan? I think we
Yeah.
should go to
Let's
pre-orders.
take a look at a few pre-orders.
Okay.
Um, and I will say this much: I am always willing to pay more for an indie book
Hmm.
because they they tell stories that, like I said, you don't normally see, and I believe in supporting those creators that have interesting stories to tell.
Okay. Now mine's not going to say pre-orders. It's going to say.
Yeah, well, okay, Matt, I know you didn't need Google for that. You're the only guy that would actually buy a life-size Optimus Prime and try to figure out how to fit it in his apartment.
So I'm gonna go back to it. Like I'm sorry, people. It's just the way
Yeah,
this thing does. Um, mine's not gonna say pre-orders. It's just gonna say coming soon. So we're on the coming soon. Um, what do you see there that comes out to you? I mean, there's so much
there,
pre-orders.
yeah, there is so much. Of course, we've got Aliens versus Avengers.
Yes. You want to highlight that one real
Yeah,
fast?
yeah, sure. Let's take a look at that.
There we go. Let's see if we can make it a little bit bigger. Yeah, there we
And
go.
I've been reading the Predator novels, or not the
Hmm.
novels, but the latest runs of Predator and
Yep.
Aliens, and they're very good. And I'm not just saying that because I'm friends with Ed Brisson, and he's working on Predator. He does amazing work. He tried to keep it close to the original movie in
Hmm.
terms of how you feel when you're reading it. So,
Hmm.
um, you know, uh, it's great. Now that Disney owns pretty much all my childhood,
Yep.
we're getting crossovers from all over the place. I'm glad they haven't done Aliens versus Star Wars yet,
Yep.
and I
Uh,
probably shouldn't say that too loud because it might give them ideas.
yeah. Nigel, would you pre-order this, or would you just kind of? It's another
I
aliens.
would. I'm a fan of Predator, but
Okay.
I haven't been. I wasn't following this. So I haven't been following this. So I would kind of wait for the trade for this one to see. I prefer sometimes to get a trade, so I
Yeah,
haven't been following this bit by bit. But
yeah,
anything with Predator in it, I'm kind of like I'm a little pricked. Like you
yeah,
have my attention, kind of thing.
yeah.
Yeah.
The Marvel run of Predator has been really good.
Yeah.
I've really enjoyed it. There's 3 trade paperbacks of it, just lots of fun to read.
Yeah.
They don't touch on the xenomorphs at all in it. They focus all on humans versus predators,
Hmm.
Hmm.
and it's pretty fun. And like you said, like if I were to see something like this, like, oh, this is the finale issue, I'm like, okay, well, I'll wait a few months for the trade paperback to come out, and then I'll check it out.
Yeah.
Well,
And
it's going to be easier than trying to hunt down back issues.
Yeah.
Matt says Aliens versus Star. No.
Yeah, and that's exactly how I feel about it, Matt. Like I said, we should not say that too loud. They may get ideas.
Yeah.
Exactly. Let's see.
Yeah. Probably Aliens versus Sith.
Yeah,
We'll go back to sharing that tab.
yeah.
Okay.
But I'd certainly give that one a shot. I haven't been
Okay.
following that run, but it just looked kind of interesting.
Yeah. I think Spider-Man is like a really good
Yeah,
comic book. I haven't currently been reading the Amazing Spider-Man, the new one. They're into number 6 now. Um, I haven't really, like I said, haven't had the opportunity or time to read it. Um, this one is coming soon. Does not give us a date of when this pre-order will be coming out. It
yeah,
just says coming soon. So check with your local comic book shop of when the Amazing Spider-Man number 6 will be coming out.
yeah. It's amazing when I go to my local shop. It's like, hey, I don't know when this issue's coming out, and without even looking at a computer screen, they're like, oh, that's coming out on this day next month or 2 months.
Yeah. And it's always good to check with your local comic book shop because they're going to know, because they're ordering the bulk of the comics that are coming into their shop. So
Yeah,
they get an advance.
the problem is I walk into mine, I walk out with a lot more than I anticipated.
I know.
It's like
I
going to
saw
Walmart or Target.
I saw someone easily slap down, and it's not even a joke, $600 in one setting on comic books. Yeah.
Oh yeah, I've seen that quite a few times.
And the thing was, it was their whole paycheck. They just said, "What?" And I was
Yeah,
just
see,
like,
yeah, I can't do that.
yeah.
I got bills to pay.
I know. And she was laughing. She was a young. I would say
Well,
she was 20s, early 20s.
okay, okay. Well, see, that's the difference. When you're in your 20s, you don't care how you spend your money.
No, no, no. And of course, it made the owner of the place very, very happy.
They get very, very happy when I start going to the Warhammer 40K section.
Oh yeah, yeah,
Oh, I've dropped $300 easy on Warhammer.
yeah.
The worst part is I walked out with a box of miniatures and a few vials of paint.
So Nigel, if
Mhm.
when you go to your comic book store, are you very selective about what you're purchasing?
Yeah, I buy a lot of my books actually online,
Mhm.
and I tend to kind of trade away it a bit, uh, because it's a lot easier to kind of read everything in one run. The book is a lot more sturdier and stuff like that. So I kind of buy trades a lot. So I have a lot of like Walking Dead trades and stuff like that. I tend to do more trade waiting. Right. I
Yeah,
don't know which is kind of good or bad, but yeah.
Mhm.
I like I said, if I've missed the first issue of something, I'm like, okay, and I mark it down for later. Like I'll make a
Mhm.
note to myself, check this out for trade.
Yeah.
Yeah.
There's
Plus another factor is I live outside of the US.
yeah,
So
Yes.
so it's better for me to kind of buy one trade from Amazon versus trying to buy
mm,
like chase down different individual books. So that's
yeah,
kind of where I can say, or I will kind of just get it digitally, which is a problem in itself sometimes in terms of uh you kind of almost forget it you kind of read it and forget it sometimes. That's the downside of having stuff digitally. You lose it because it's
Yeah,
not a physical thing, you know?
yeah.
Mhm.
Um, and Neutron, since you've got the wrench, can you take care of that boost bot viewer thing?
Yeah, I didn't see that. I was looking at the thing. So
But no, one of the things I do is also if it's a series that I've collected and I really
Mhm.
enjoy, I'm going to get the trade, or in my case, like I really enjoyed the Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic back when it was with Dark Horse.
Mm.
And I got the hardcover omnibus of like 15 years worth of comics.
there we go. Well,
$200, about 10 pounds worth of paper, and about that thick on my bookshelf.
yeah,
And I love that. My friend's like, "How much did you pay for it?" I'm like, "Close to 200."
yeah, yeah.
And they always ask me, "Well, is it worth it?" And I said, "Well, that depends on who you ask, you know."
Yeah, yeah.
I thought I would highlight this one, uh, Emma Frost, the White Queen, number one. If you guys are a big, huge X Men fan, uh,
I used
I've,
to be, but then it got
yeah.
so expensive collecting all the X-Men titles.
oh, I know, but I think this one uh, is really going to be, I think, eye catching, very interesting, just by looking at the title.
Yeah.
Not at the title alone, but more about it. In the darkest days of the Hellfire Club, before she became a mainstay of the heroic X Men, Emma Frost had another role, White Queen of the Hellfire Club. As she grapples for power with the rest of the inner circle, witness Emma's ruthless ascent to the top. And when she discovers there is a male within the Hellfire Club leaking secrets to their sworn enemies, the X Men, Emma will stop at nothing to uncover the truth and take a deep dive into Emma's past, learning shocking secrets, and be prepared to bow down to the White Queen.
Yeah. I will say this: they certainly know who their audience is.
Oh, yeah. Oh,
Right
yeah.
then and there. I do like Emma Frost. I think she's an underused character. Um, I also saw that one of the items that's up for pre-order, uh, what was it? Is the Punisher Red Band series,
Hmm.
Oh, now you're talking.
Yeah,
and
yeah.
you know, and you had, I think it was Erica. I forget her last name.
Schultz?
Schultz. Thank you. Normally, I'm the one reminding you of things, but
Yeah, I know.
she wrote the Electra Red Band series, so I started reading like the Red Band Blade, Werewolf by Night, all that stuff, and I'm really excited to see what they're going to do with Frank Castle with a Red Band title.
Yeah.
yeah,
I'm actually looking forward to that. I'm a big Punisher fan. Uh,
Yeah,
yeah.
Again, I kind of love a lot this Punisher Max series. So
yeah,
maybe it'd be a happy middle between 616 and Punisher Max.
Yeah.
yeah. Like I have in my basement somewhere all the old black and white Punisher magazines.
Yeah, I had them when I
Um,
was a kid.
Yeah. And,
Yes.
and back then, of course, because they weren't technically comic books, they
Hmm.
could do a lot in those.
Yeah,
Um, and I know the Red Band only covers violence and that, but, Frank's a very violent type of guy.
yeah,
So I am curious to see what they do with that series.
yeah. Me too. Very much.
I was gonna ask you guys, um, what Punisher movie do you like the most? There's
Ooh.
That's
That's a tough one.
It's a difficult one.
I love
It's kind of
in some way.
yeah.
I
I'm the
think they're
same.
all
Yeah,
very good.
yeah.
I
That's the
really
same thing.
liked Thomas Jane as Frank Castle,
Hmm.
because that really touched on, the, I guess what I would say would be the kind of loneliness he was feeling
Mhm.
and the Punisher one with law.
Yeah.
So I really like that. And again, the music in that, in my mind, was perfect.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just
I,
increased your microphone. Sorry. Go ahead, Nigel.
yeah. I like similarly. I think there's something to be said about all of them, and even down to the Daredevil series where Punisher was introduced. Those first episodes felt like if it was a Punisher movie. It
Yeah.
was really well done. So I think so there's a lot of the Ray Stevens Punisher movie that I liked. The brutality, the way how his suit looked, the tech. It did veer into a little bit of camp at times,
Hmm.
but I could see where it was trying to pull its source material from the Max series, and the Thomas Jane one was kind of pulling from the Welcome Back Frank series.
Hmm.
And but what I would say is the action scenes were always well choreographed, and it
Yeah.
would, yeah. Even I even kind of went back and I saw a bit of the Dolph Lundgren one,
Oh
and
yes.
yeah, and that was a product of its time where things were created, but it never wanted to lean too much into the source material. So
Yeah.
there's barely any reference to Punisher. He only has like a skull on his knife.
Yeah.
So so it kind of just feels like a 80s action movie of its
Yeah.
time.
Yeah.
And he kind of
One of the guys I know, and I haven't spoken to him in years and years, um, is actually in Punisher Warzone.
Mm.
He's in there for a very brief moment. He gets his head blown up in an elevator.
Mm.
But I'm like, man, can you? I told him, but you managed to get on film in a Punisher movie and have a gory death. For a
Mm.
lot of us, that's a dream, man.
Yeah. I'm gonna go to chat real fast, guys.
Yeah.
Here we go. JP says, I remember having a late 90s Punisher #1 comic. Believe the cover was green and purple. Maybe Matt or yourself, Dan, can look that up on Google or eBay and see if confirm the color of the cover, if it was green or purple.
Yeah, well, back then they had variants, so.
Yeah. Also, the Mighty Neutron says he likes Warzone.
Yeah.
Warzone. Yeah.
They had one from 1987 that was green and purple.
Okay.
Punisher #1, 1987, writer Mike Barron.
Can you share that with us? You can share the screen. I'll stop sharing mine and then you can share yours. Go ahead.
Okay, let me just pop in over here and share screen. Punisher #1. Yeah. All right. You seeing it?
We're going to add you to the scene. Here we go.
Yeah. Yeah. That's
So it,
probably the one Josh is thinking of.
yeah, it would have to be because he said it was green and purple.
Yeah. So 1987 first run. Back when I could afford a lot of comics with a $20 paycheck.
Yeah. I wonder what it would be graded.
Uh, yeah, because this one's $75 Canadian.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um,
And it's only an 8.5. That's an 8.5 condition.
Yeah.
You know, it's
One
not a
thing,
perfect.
no. One thing I miss though are the really cool ads.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
oh yeah,
But
that
yeah,
looks cool.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. So yeah, I might have to look into that one. I think I had
yeah.
a point. My friend gave me uh, a lot of his old Punisher stuff and a lot of his old
Mhm.
comics, 20s.
I just want to get to this real fast, Dan.
Yeah,
So my Moocher says apologies, Chris. I got to head out. Have a great rest of the stream, guys. Oh, no problem. No
yeah. Well,
problem.
it's starting to get late where Mutron is. He's in the UK.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
We
I actually
appreciate.
have to duck out also. Uh, but it was
Yeah,
great hanging with you guys,
yeah,
Okay, thank you.
and I would love to come back on at any other time.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
We're
And
happy to
yeah,
have you.
yeah,
Always
yeah.
thanks
nice
for having me.
to talk about comics and any new projects you might be working on in the near future.
Okay, no
Always
problem,
happy
man.
to talk about those.
Okay, man. I really appreciate it. Thanks a lot, guys, man.
Yeah,
Take care.
take
I
care.
gotta go. Okay, man.
Okay, bye.
There we go.
Yeah,
It's always good. Now you and me can hang out.
yeah,
Um,
and
go ahead.
yeah. Well, I like I said, my friend was in his 20s. He was like, "I'm getting too old for this stuff. Do you want my comic collection?"
Mhm.
And I was like, "Okay." And I got a gold Ghost Rider glow in the dark comic cover and the
Mhm.
black Venom glow in the dark comic cover, which are pretty expensive now.
Yeah.
Um, but it's one of those things where uh, I've always collected comic books.
Yeah. So we ended the poll, and the poll for yes is 87%. For no is 12%. So people are willing to pay more, Dan, for indie comics.
Yeah, well, for those of us that grew up way back in the day, we did pay more for indie comics,
Right.
and I think we were willing to do that because it wasn't the same stories coming from DC or Marvel. It was a new take on varying genres.
Mhm. I see it's everybody's good night. We understand. It's
I think Josh might have just been saying goodnight to Nigel or Mutron.
oh, okay. All right. I didn't want to interrupt you. Go ahead.
But no, because um, there were so many great comics that came out in the 90s that were not part of the main banners. Like
Mhm.
Image Comics was an indie comic studio when it first started.
Right. Yeah.
So, you know, Preacher coming out back then was such a big deal.
Yeah.
And yeah, so uh, yeah, it might be a higher price point to start, but it can lead to some really great stories in the
Yeah.
long run.
And I think with indie comics, you're going to get a better bunch of stories. You're going to get something different. Um, I'm seeing a horror make a resurgence in indie
Hmm.
comics.
Yeah,
We saw just with Nigel, steampunk,
cyberpunk stuff like that.
cyberpunk coming in, fantasy. Comics are coming back. There's just a whole genre of comics. It's just not
Yeah.
superheroes anymore. It's
No, and not only in print, but we're also seeing a resurgence of web comics. Because for some of them, publishing one book just isn't feasible. So they'll do like a couple pages every so often.
exactly,
And
exactly.
and I love that because then I can go and I can check people and I'd be like, "Oh, they've updated their webcomic. Cool."
Yeah. I think the guys from the comic book store that the show is based off. We all know. I forget the show off the top of my head now.
Young Sheldon.
No, no, no.
Oh,
The comic book shop that the
oh,
guys visited. Uh,
oh yeah.
I forget what show.
Uh, are we talking like Jay and Silent Bob's Secret Stash?
No, no.
No.
What's that? The one with all the guys with Sheldon and everybody in it.
Oh, Big Bang Theory.
Thank you. See,
Yeah.
I'm having like memory lapses today.
It's probably best you didn't play Fortnite this morning.
I know. I know. I think I've been too invested in getting all the people for Comic Book Spotlight, and then getting ready for Jim
It,
Mint
yeah.
collectibles, which he is a vast knowledge of, just like yourself. He's a vast knowledge of comic books, and I found out Jim Mint was a former rapper back in the day.
Oh, really? Very
Yeah.
cool.
He actually had a record contract and produced several albums under Jim Mint.
Oh, cool.
So I'm going to be having him on Thursday
Mm,
uh, this coming week. It's going to be the same time, 2 p.m.
yeah.
Pacific Standard Time, 5 p.m. Eastern.
Eastern.
But what do you? I want to show you what I got as far as digital,
Hmm.
if you don't mind.
Absolutely. I'm always happy.
Let's see if I can share it though.
And I think Matt's trying to call you out a bit.
Oh, yes,
Yeah.
Cutthroat. I've seen you in Jay's Discord every single night playing Fortnite. Am I? Am I? Maybe. I
Well,
don't know. Every
I'm gonna
night.
I'm gonna say this much. So even the most diehard workaholics need to unwind sometime.
Okay, I've been in Fortnite a little bit much. Yes, me and Dem played. JP, Rusty, Gamer, Mutron. Yeah, there's times during the day, the afternoon. I'm kind
When
of a
you
little
just feel like
bored.
you need a little bit of a mental break.
Plus, I see Jay playing games all the time, and I'm just like, that looks like so much fun. I gotta, just get in
Yeah.
there. And
Yeah.
plus, this battle passes, the quests are driving me crazy. I don't know. This battle pass, I feel like I'll be able to complete the battle pass, but I just feel like the quests are crazy, and then
Yeah.
I'm trying to find where they're located, and then when I do find they're located, it's like a pain in the butt. It's like I don't like this quest one because with some of the people you have to do with
Yeah.
this one quest, you got to do same movement as they are doing it, and I was trying to figure it out, and then I was like, oh, okay, I had to go watch a video to
Mm.
go know what
Well,
the
I
hell I was
spent
doing.
10 minutes pressing a single button to open a suitcase.
That was crazy. That was crazy, and the storm came and ate you, and then you ran,
And
and
I outran it twice.
twice, and then you died, and I was like, what happened to your backup? I mean, you had Jay, right?
The problem was they were all outside keeping the enemies away from me.
But they're such good. I mean, you had Rusty, and you had Jay, and you had Mutron.
Yeah.
You know, um,
Yeah. Yeah.
which is as Stacy says, he does work hard on his streams. Good
He
job,
does.
Chris.
Yeah. Yeah,
I
you do.
do. I do. He says, what is it? JP says, to be fair, Cutthroat does put a lot of work into his comic book spotlight. I do. Thank you, JP. I do. I do.
Yeah.
Um, I'm just trying to build this franchise and try to make it better. And I think bringing here Den of Geek on Saturdays was a great idea. Actually, you reached out to me and
Yeah,
said,
I
hey,
just started thinking, once you and you had me on for Chad talking about the GI Joe stuff, and I was like, well, what if we started doing that on Saturdays about various comics and pre-orders and all that stuff, and we
Yeah.
just kind of ran with that.
Yeah, and it was a
So
good idea. I was like, yeah, that's an amazing idea, and I'm always open to new ideas. And
yeah,
then a lot of people were saying, well, maybe you're going to confuse people, and I'm like, no, I'm not going to confuse people because Saturday is a total different version
yeah,
of comic book spotlight. You know,
yeah.
what does Matt
Uh,
says? Chris works very hard on his streams and comic book content. I was
uh,
never arguing against
oh
that.
no,
Oh,
yeah,
no, we don't say that. Yeah,
no,
yeah.
it's a lot of planning and getting things lined up,
Mhm.
and you know, and I absolutely love talking about comics, be they new or old.
Yeah.
Um, oh, okay, there's Josh with it.
What they said, he said, if only Cutthroat worked harder at getting better at Fortnite. Ooh.
Oh, shots fired.
Ooh.
But
Okay.
no, I mean the thing is,
I will
uh,
get better if one does not admit that he gets more kills than everybody else. No, I'm just
um,
kidding. I'm just
yeah.
kidding.
But no, I mean I love talking about comics and everything because they are modern mythology basically.
Mhm. Here's Stacy. I didn't think you meant it like that, Matt, but it was funny. Yeah,
Yeah.
Matt is a funny guy. I mean, if you get to know Matt and you because I've played Fortnite with him, you play Fortnite with him.
Oh yeah, he's hilarious.
If you get to know Matt, Matt is a funny guy. He has a great sense of humor.
Yeah.
Um, and I like picking his brain because he has a vast knowledge of Transformers.
Oh yes.
He's a big movie buff.
Yeah.
Um,
Very knowledgeable on Superman.
I just got a message from Alan, and he said, "Thanks a lot, guys. It was fun being on Comic Book Spotlight again. Thank you."
Yeah.
So, thank you. Huh?
Always happy to have him.
I wish I could show it on the screen, but I can't. Oh yeah, I was going to show you what I got from Amazon. Let's see. Let me see. I got to share. Here we go again. Kendall, share. GI Joe #5.
Ooh, very nice.
Uh,
Yeah.
you can see that. Let's see.
Yeah.
You can see that really
I like
good.
that image too. That
Oh
cover.
yeah. Oh yeah. That image is really, really, really good. I downloaded. Guess how much this cost me for digital?
How much?
$1.99.
Yeah, that doesn't shock me.
Yeah.
But you know, and digital's always nice. I do like
Hmm.
uh, if I can get digital copies, and then I'll pick up the physical of the trade in some cases.
Yeah.
Um, just because it's like, look, I don't want to wait like 6 months for the trade to come out.
No. No. I think this is really good because this is the Destro
Yeah,
#5, and anything that has Destro, I love. Cobra Commander, I love.
yeah,
But it's
yeah,
just so beautiful. I'm just,
yeah,
and of course, it's a continuation of the Energon universe
yeah.
crossover between GI Joe and Transformers,
Hmm.
and
And
of
that's how
course,
they should do it.
yeah,
if they
and
if CBS / Paramount wants to know how to do a proper GI Joe Transformers crossover, just
mhm.
talk to the guys at Image.
Oh, I know. And if they were to follow these comic books, just briefly, and I know when you're doing movies, when they
Yeah,
write things,
you can't do a 5 comic run or a 10 comic run.
yeah,
But at
right,
least look at it and go, okay, well, we can kind of outline that in the first 20 minutes.
exactly. It's like it's not hard, guys. It's not hard. Hasbro, look, see, read the Image comic books. Immersive. I mean, you do have an advertisement. I mean, it's clearly right there
Yeah.
to the left. So I don't know. Sometimes it. What was I going to say? Hasbro frustrates me.
Hasbro frustrates everybody.
Yes, but it's just beautiful. It's you can see Duke down below at the very end, and they got him in his chains and everything. I don't
Yeah.
remember what happened from the previous issues because I haven't been really following it that well.
Yeah.
But if we had Chad here, I'm sure he would tell us everything.
Oh, yes. If it's
But you got,
G.I. Joe or G.I. Joe related, chances are Chad knows it.
I know, but I think the quality of this comic book and not going too crazy with the colors is great. Um,
Yeah.
Now I don't know who that particular guy is beating up on Duke. I don't know. Do we know who that character is?
Let me take a look here. Beating up on Duke.
Yeah,
Not offhand. Probably it might be a new character.
yeah. I don't know.
See that, Hasbro? New characters. What a concept.
I don't know. Maybe Matt knows. I don't remember. Like I said, I'm not Mr. Know It All when it comes to comic books. Don't.
Yeah.
But you could there. You could what Destro is doing to Baroness. Is that Baroness? Yeah, it's
Yeah.
Baroness. It's a great comic book, but you know. Uh, hello. Why isn't it going to the next one? Oh, there we go. Oh, hang on. No,
Yeah.
no, no. For some reason, it's not wanting to do more.
Yeah.
I know there's more to the comic book. Here we
Yeah.
go. Come on. I'm sorry, guys. Difficulties. Uh, Anime transition. Page 7. Okay. Oh my god. More difficulties.
Yeah.
Once we get these figured out. Here we go. Page 5. No, still want to give me problems. All right. Sorry, guys.
Oh well.
Oh my god. You know
Yeah.
what? Next time I'm gonna do. Next time I'm gonna we're gonna do a run through before we even go on the air.
Yeah.
That is crazy because I thought it'd be simple.
Yeah.
Are you talking about Risk? That's what he's saying. I guess
Yeah.
so. I guess so, Matt. I don't remember that particular character, but so Dan, what do you think you're gonna pick up this week at your comic book shop?
I'm not sure. I'm probably going to go with, of course, pre-ordering the Red Band Punisher just because it's the Punisher.
Mm-hmm. He says they aren't going to let you read the entire comics. They're only going to post like 5 pages or so. You will have to go and buy it. I did buy it.
Yeah, that was the digital edition.
That was the digital edition. Yeah,
Okay, so Risk is new to the Energon universe.
yeah.
Yeah.
Because I
Um,
looked at Kindle, and yeah, that's. Oh, hang on.
yeah.
Yeah,
But
no.
no, there's a few things I want to pick up. I
Mhm.
really don't know until I kind of get there and kind of, talk with some of the guys about it.
Mhm.
And that's the big thing is I got to go in.
Yeah. Hmm.
And I kind of have to see what's what.
Yeah. What did she say? Stacey says it's okay, buddy. Let it go. Live streams are well live and things happen. Yes, I know. And then Matt says, "Oh, oops, yeah." Live streams. That's what happens with us. That's me and Dan are figuring it out, and
Yeah,
I think next time when we do this, I'll have it a lot better figured out. Um,
yeah.
because now we got the better edition of comic book spotlight. We can do more. I can, you know what, Dan? We can have up to 10 guests now.
Ooh,
So if we wanted more guests, I could fill up this whole screen with little thumbnails with the people's chat windows, and we can have a big discussion if we wanted to.
nice.
So it's
Yeah.
good when you start paying for it, right?
Yeah. Well, that's the secret. They're going to get you hooked on the free version. Then they're like, hey, if you want to do this, you got to pay us.
Mhm. So, what do you think about the new opening of Comic Book Spotlight? The
I like
intro.
that. That's very cool. Yeah.
Yeah, I like it too.
Yeah.
I like it. Um, I think what I'm going to be picking up at the comic book shop is I'm going to do definitely the Absolute Batman. I want to pick that up. I also want to pick up some more GI Joe and Transformer comics. Um, kind of finish up where I kind of left off, and
Yeah.
I don't think anybody knows what's been going on in my life right now, dealing with my mom's estate thing, and that's been a pain in the butt. Dealing with
Yeah.
my sister. Um, I don't mean to talk about my personal life, but it does affect,
Oh, yeah.
my ability to buy things now. I have to
Oh, yeah.
constantly watch what I'm spending.
Hmm.
Let's see. Chris loves a good thumbnail. I do. I do like a good thumbnail. I'm getting better at it every day, and I love that you, Den Geek, comes on. We don't do it every Saturday, but
No.
every other Saturday because you're busy doing things that you love to do.
Yep.
And
Life happens. Well, sometimes it's not things I would love to do, but things I have to do.
oh yeah. Um, is there anything? Oh, since we got the lovely screenshot of that comic book shop,
Hmm.
you know what I like about your image back here of the comic book shop
Yeah.
from the show.
Yeah.
Um, I like that. It's everything. It reminds me of the old comic book shops
Yeah.
back in the day,
Yeah.
and how they put up things, they hang things, Batman cutouts and stuff like that.
Yeah. Even the masks up along the top there, you know, and, the old comic book shops, and this is why I go to my local one, they felt welcoming. They had a personality.
yeah,
I saw what
yeah,
Matt posted.
I was just gonna say, Chris loves a thumbnail. He puts the man in manicures.
Manicure. Yeah.
Yeah, you gotta have a good manicure. Come on, good
Yeah.
manicure. Uh, Matt's funny. I think JP did leave. That's why he did say goodbye. I think he
Uh,
did leave.
he might. Yeah.
Uh,
Well, it happens.
Stacy's like, well, it's different time in old Canada. And I think, oh, that's right. They have a hockey game tonight, isn't that right?
Yep. Oilers versus Panthers for the final.
Is it two apiece?
Yep.
So whoever wins, it's over.
Pretty much, yeah. Or no. Best of it's got to win 4 out of 7.
Okay. So let's just say someone wins 3, they got to do one more, and then that's over.
Yeah.
I remember hockey, but I remember when hockey was like so fast that the games were over like a second.
Yeah.
Now they're a little longer. Oh, JP says, "Oh no, I'm still here." Okay, I'm still here. We thought we
Yeah.
lost you because hockey is important too. This has been a good edition of
Yeah.
Comic Book Spotlight number 10, I believe.
Yeah. Yeah, it's always fun and especially nice to have creators on
Yeah,
talk
it
about
was
their projects.
it was a big surprise. It was last minute and kind of sneaked it in there. I wanted to surprise you a little bit.
Yeah.
Sneaked it in there.
Yeah.
We're gonna have Gem Mint.
You said
Gonna,
this Thursday, I believe.
yep, 2 p.m., 5 p.m. Eastern. We'll be talking comics. We'll be talking uh, his channel. He has a morning channel
Oh,
that he does with his wife. His wife didn't want to come on because I think she only does it for her husband, and
yeah.
I try to get both to come on, but
Yeah. But hey,
I understand that some of the people don't want to be on camera all the time.
yeah. Ooh, Josh is playing poker and watching hockey. Multitasking.
He's playing poker. Is it strip poker or is it just regular poker?
If it's with my friends, you really don't want strip poker. That's not something you want.
Oh my god. Um,
But yeah, yeah, and I understand not everybody wants to be on camera all the time.
yep. Can you do me a favor, Dan? If you can put it up,
Yeah.
can you show us that great thumbnail that you made for Jay?
You're gonna have to be a bit more specific. I've made a few.
The one that says Legends Club on it.
Okay.
Nintendo box.
Oh yes. Let me just pull that up here. I gotta find it.
Take your time.
All right. Well, that made it easy. Uh,
He's playing regular Texas Hold'em poker.
okay, and I will post as soon as I can find the tabs.
I know.
I will get there, I swear.
Yeah, we're learning.
There we go.
There we go. I think I added it, didn't I?
Yeah.
Does it show it?
Should be.
Hit it again.
Okay. Here. Because I have to switch over to window. Switch over to
Okay.
my Discord. But yeah, that's the one I created.
Is it showing? Is it showing? No. Where is it?
Okay. All right.
Hit it again for me.
Okay. I will save image.
Should
and I
say
will do
share.
Let's go to. stop sharing, and what I will do is I will open it.
Mhm.
I will go and do this
Yeah.
the hard way.
Mhm.
That's how it always.
I'm thinking you. Yeah. I'm thinking you have to. Let's see.
Okay, let me just go in here real quick and share screen. Window.
There we
There.
go. Ah, that's awesome.
Thanks. I had the idea a while back. I'm working with Jay on a
Mhm.
few other thumbnails
Okay.
that might become merch. We just
Oh,
have to be
oh,
really careful about certain legal sides
yes.
because I had Fortnite in them, and we can't do that
Hmm.
for merch. So
Oh,
yeah. But I wanted something reminiscent of the video game boxes of old. You know,
okay.
like,
And Stacy says, "Great show, guys. Chris and Dan, have a great night." Okay.
all right,
See you,
later,
Stacy.
Stacy. But yeah, I just remember like back in the day having like preview copies where they'd have the
Hmm.
box on display.
Hmm.
But and I just thought, hey, why don't I do something like that?
Yeah. Yeah. No, that's great. And of course, we can't show a whole lot because you're working with Jay on it. We don't
Yeah,
want to spoil it because he wants to use it on his show.
yeah.
I thought I'd
But
just
that one I just posted in general chat just because I made it. I thought it looked cool,
right. Look good.
and yeah, and I liked it. Mutron loves it.
Hmm.
I'm working
Hmm.
on a few projects for some possible merch for my own side,
Nice.
and Mutron says his wallet already hates me.
Well, Ari hates him.
Yeah,
Also, yeah, we got once you get your merch up, we got to put it on here in Comic Book Spotlight. I want
yeah,
to mention also, people, I do have a merch store.
yeah.
Also, let's see, I'll show it right here. Cutthroat Comics Studio Wear, just with your iPhone or your Samsung thing, the
Mhm.
little
QR
icon right
code.
here,
Yeah, the
QR
QR
code.
code.
It'll go
And
right to my um, cool little spring T-shirt place, which we have Replay Squads T-shirts, we have Cutthroat Comic T-shirts, we have uh, Comic Book Spotlight T-shirts, and when Dan wants to bring his merch over to here, I have no problem showing it on our show because that's the kind of guy I am.
mhm. Yeah,
There you go.
I
Yeah.
appreciate that. I still got to pick up a few shirts from you eventually,
Yeah.
but
And
yeah,
I'm not pure. I'm not trying to pressure anybody to buy my
no,
T-shirts. It's
I
there
I like
when,
the design, and I do need some new T-shirts. So
yeah, it's kind of cool. This is the new studio design that I
yeah,
kind of came up with.
nice. I like
Something
it.
different. Also, if people want to support the show for me and Dan, there you go. It goes to our PayPal. That money will be directly deposited to our accounts, and basically we can use it to help the show go even further.
Buy more
Whatever
software.
you, yes,
Yeah,
buy more cameras, uh,
yeah,
but we know people. I'm not trying to hit people up for money.
no,
If you can, do it. If you
yeah.
can't, we understand because
We're just happy to have
I'm
you
in.
here.
I'm exactly because we know there's other memberships that people are part of, and they
Yeah,
spend a whole lot of money for because God knows we spend a lot on Jay's stream.
Oh
I
yeah,
love it.
I bought 2 skins this morning for Fortnite using his creator code.
Yep, I bought what was it? Um, I bought a skin as well, which is Black Manta and another emoji, and I use Jay's creation thing, and I think he gets a nice percentage from each of those
Yeah.
sales. So
I had to go through the same thing for my own creator because I'm creating an island for Fortnite.
Mhm.
So they're like, "Oh, you've
Yeah.
got to fill out all this documentation." It didn't take me as long as Jay, but it's certainly not a fun process.
So if you make your own island on Fortnite, they make you go through a process.
Yes, because you can earn money based on how many players are playing there, visiting, hanging out, stuff like that.
Mm. It's like the one with was it The Walking Dead? Someone created one of those Walking Dead ones.
Yeah.
I think it was Tower Defense, which was pretty fun.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay,
So you have to go through that.
What do you have to plug? Let me give you the spotlight.
Not much right now. I mean, as long as Google holds up, I'll be on your next stream. You know, in the audience there, because it's Thursday, and this past Thursday, Google went down, which took out Cloudflare, which took out some of our services, and it was a very long 2.5 hours.
Nice.
Because of course our clients call us and they're like, "Well, what's going on?" And they're like, "Well, how do you plan to avoid this happening in the future?"
Yeah.
We can't.
Also, down below in the links, Den of Geeks media links, as well as mine for Cutthroat Comics.
Yeah, I might stream a little tomorrow. I'm not sure yet. It depends.
Oh, nice.
That'll probably be on my YouTube channel. I kind of prefer YouTube to Twitch, but different animals.
Yeah. So some gaming you might be streaming.
Yeah.
What would be in mind that you're gonna stream? Do you have an idea?
Not yet. I might break out maybe some of the Telltale Walking Dead collection.
Ooh, yeah.
Because I've been kind of in that mood lately.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, it's been really interesting. Because I might actually have some free time tomorrow.
Yeah. I didn't see, but
yeah,
Matt left. Alrighty, folks, have a great night. And then JP said, "I hope I win money at poker tonight."
Yeah, well, we all hope that, Josh. JP.
So
it's much better than the alternative.
Yeah. I want to thank again my co-host, the one and only Den of Geek. He is a great guy. I think we're going to go out with a bang with our outro. Or maybe we'll just play the intro again.
Hey, you can't go wrong with DX's music.
I know. I say we go back out with the intro. So
all right, sounds good.
Here we go. We're getting ready. Let's play it.
A regularly scheduled program for this special report.
Yeah. All right.
Are you ready? Hey, think you can tell us what to do? You think you can tell us what to wear? You think that you're better? Well, you better get ready. Bow to the masters. Break it down. Degenerate into something fool. We just got tired of doing what you told us to do. That's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration up. Degeneration. You think you can tell me what to do? know who you're talking to? Well, you better get used to the way the ball bounces. I see what you got, it measures in ounces. But that's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration! Degeneration! Think you're a big man? Treat you like you're a little man. Yeah. Break it down. Yo, tell me what it's like to be half a man. It must break your heart to see what I am, but that's a brace, boy. Yeah, that's a brace, little man. Break it down. Degeneration! Degeneration! Think you can tell me what to do? Know who you're talking to?